For more than 30 years, Louise Harris has owned Last Research and Editing, and for nearly 10 years, owned Christian Marketing Experts. She has helped numerous clients in writing, editing, and marketing manuscripts and content. In addition, she has published 4 novels, 1 book on addiction, a children's book, and ghostwrote 2 cookbooks and a thriller.
Hello, I'm Louise Harris from Last Research and Editing and Christian Marketing Experts. And this week on The Last Word, we're going to be talking about ways that you can stand out from your competition. So let's get started. Every small business owner is competing with other people. That is a fact. You might think that you have the corner of the market, and you might think you have no competition, but there is always somebody that is doing something similar to what you're doing. You have to find a way to be distinct in all the competitive noise and marketplace. Now, it is not always, you might actually be the first to market or offer a service that other people do not offer, but then you still have competition of everybody else who's on the internet, all the other businesses that are vying for people's attention. It does take 21 touches before someone will actually buy from you. They won't even remember you until 14 times. So you have to do what you have to do to make yourself distinctive. The saying is, if you're not distinct, you're going to become extinct, like the dinosaurs. So let me give you an example. I like to go to the beach at least once a week, and it is 20 minutes from my house, and I drive past neighborhoods. There's this one house that is up for sale, and the real estate agent, instead of using a typical real estate sign that says for sale, the real estate agent has put a giant cutout of a man holding his arms out with the words "look." And every time I drive past this house that's up for sale, I always think this is a really good way to stand out among other real estate options that are up for sale, because you do look. When you see that sign, you are looking. Now, if you're driving, of course, you're not looking at the house you're driving, but I see the sign and I remember it. I couldn't tell you who the real estate agent company is, though, but I think it's eye-catching and it is different. Most real estate signs are just the name of the company and for sale, and then they'll give you a flyer about all the different features that are in the house. But this guy is actually making you stop and think. And first you have to think, what does he want me to look? And then you realize that it's a house for sale, and then you're like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And if you are someone looking to buy a house, you're probably going to want to check that one out because it's distinctive. The other thing about real estate agents that I've been trying to do for years is stop the selling of the features of the house and start selling the stories of the house, because it's easier to sell a story than it is to sell bland features. It humanizes the house. And when I was in Arizona and we put our house up for sale and it wasn't selling, and months have gone by, I found this website that allows you to post your house for sale, and you can, instead of putting a description, you can actually write a story. So my being a writer, I actually wrote a story for my house to try to sell it. Now, because at the time in 2008 we were in the housing crash, and there was a lot of houses up for sale, and mine was just getting lost in all the other ones that were up for sale. And so I decided to try this. But it got me to thinking that why don't other homeowners do this? Why don't they hire a writer to write the descriptions of the houses instead of just saying it's 4 bedrooms with a fireplace and 2 bathrooms and a kitchen and an eating kitchen and cozy, meaning small. They don't have to write it that way. They could write something along the lines of a family of 5 lived in a house with 4 bedrooms where each child got his or her own bedroom. They enjoyed watching movies in the family room next to the fireplace. They looked out their brand new windows and to see the beautiful big backyard and fresh landscape in the front yard. You know, that's a little more interesting than saying, oh, there's a fireplace and 4 bedrooms. And I've actually proposed this idea to several different real estate agents, and they kind of ignore me. But one of the things that I think would work, you can't put it that way in the MLS. I do understand that. But on the flyers that they put with the houses, you can write whatever you want. And you can write it as a story instead of writing it as a bland description. And that, to me, would be another way that real estate agents would stand out. It would also be another way for writers to have a job where they're actually using their creativity to help a business. So to me, it would be a great partnership. But I just don't seem to get any kind of gung-ho response. I had one real estate agent who thought it was a really good idea, but because he didn't like something that I did for him, he never wanted to pursue this idea, even though he thought it was a really good idea. So maybe some of my viewers who are also writers can convince a real estate agent to try this approach and see if it works to sell houses. But whatever your small business is, you do need to be distinctive. You do need to have an idea and a way to market you that is different from your competitors. You need to find language that sets you apart. You need to figure out what you do that's different from people in your industry. And you do need to find a way to stand out when people are just driving by so that they remember you. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you come up with your own unique ideas. If you are watching and have subscribed, it does help and I appreciate you. If you have not subscribed, please do. As I said, it does help with the algorithm. Visit my websites, lastresearchandediting.com, christianmarketingexperts.com, amazon.com/author/Louise Harris, and buy some books. And I am working on ghostwriting a cookbook, and we're anticipating Halloween as the launch date. And I'm also trying to finish up my other projects that I have. So we'll look out for those as well. And always, don't worry, be happy.